brother has cognitive differences and epilepsy. So he's a patient at Mass General, and he's been inpatient there quite a few times in London. So for me, I was able to connect with mainly nurses on the floor, and they not only took care of my brother, but they were able to almost take care of my family, and they just made us feel more comfortable, and they made my brother feel more comfortable. And I wanted to give back to them because they did so much for us that it only felt right to give back to them. When you think of fundraising, you think of yard sales, bake sales, that kind of stuff, and I have actually done that kind of stuff in order to get money. We also do direct donations through the social media that I have for it, in order to buy the coloring supplies, the movies, the DVD players, which were the big things that we really needed the money for. And a lot of people would actually donate books and movies that they had never used before, and it was perfect. It was just what we wanted. We were there all the time, so my brother had that stuff regardless. It's all the stuff he liked. And we did also notice how many people were like my brother that didn't have the family with them all the time or at all. So it was really important that they were able to get the same things, even though they didn't have the same support system that my brother had. I think it's important that if you come up with an idea that has to do with donating to MGH, or this really applies to anything, but especially such a big hospital, if you have that idea, it's worth a try. If you don't try, you're not going to know. And then it's well, maybe that could have worked. Or then maybe later you see someone else came up with that idea, and it's oh, I'm glad someone's doing it, but it goes to show that I could have done it. We post every single time we get something. When we use people's money that they've given us, because that tends to be the most standard donation, it just tends to be money. We'll post on our group on Facebook and say, okay, these are pictures, and we'll typically tag the person and say, this is what we bought with your money. And we keep a cataloged list every single year of every single thing we have and how many we have of it. Because it just, that's honestly, the fundraising part isn't the hard part. The hard part is getting people to believe you. And it's now that I've been doing it for so long, people believe me. But when you first start, people are well, she's just a kid. Why is she doing this? Hearing about the MGH fund and donating directly to them, it's important because it takes kind of what I'm doing on Lunder 8 and kind of gives that opportunity for something obviously not the same, but similar to kind of make those other areas feel the same. And so it makes me feel okay, well, now I'm giving back to the floor that helped my family. Well, now I can give back to the hospital that helped my family. I really do enjoy being so young and getting to do this. It also gives me perspective on okay, well, there's a bunch of adults my parents' age, older than my parents, that are doing this kind of thing, and it kind of gives me that almost life experience that comes with it, because you don't see it happen often and you don't get those opportunities often. And I'm meeting people that I wouldn't meet, that are much older than me, that have these jobs or have these life experiences and have all this stuff that I wouldn't meet if I didn't do this. And getting to meet them gives me almost advice without giving me advice on how to live, how to do things, what I should be doing, because they've already done it. If I know someone now, in 10 years, maybe they're oh, I remember someone doing something like this, even if they don't remember it was me or what they did. It might kind of give that spark to continue to do it. And that's how charities and places like that, I feel always continue to run. They have all these people that are willing to donate and stuff like that. Well, they had to get that idea from somewhere as to why they wanted to donate, whether it was an experience they had, just going to the hospital, or someone they met. I want to be that someone they met.